Hey, it's Laurel with the Dabbling Hook. How are you guys doing? Today is October 29th. Wow. Every time I sit down and I say wow about the date, I don't know why I'm always so surprised, but anyway, sorry. I looked over the side because I'm awaiting a delivery and just checking. Anyway, it's October 29th, like I said. It's cold. Maybe I'm just getting really old, but it's way colder than I ever remember it being around this time of year. Mind you, there were a couple of years, like back to back, where we got Halloween storms. The first time it took out power lines because it was like an ice storm or something, and some people were out of power for like a week, and then almost a year to the day, almost the same thing happened again. But it's been a while and it's cold. And after that it warmed up, but it's been really cold. It's like in the 40s right now. Anyway, hey, if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for visiting. I hope you subscribe, but if you don't, I hope you enjoy this episode. Having some Panera. Anyway, oh, and for you OGs, cheers. All right. What is this about? I'm going to be looking down because I have my computer in front of me. I am going to attempt to do a recap of my 3 craft fairs I've had since September. I had 2 in September and 1 at the beginning of this month. Do I remember everything? No. My plan was to do a recap right after, but I was spent after the first 2. Again, old age, who knows, whatever. But I just, physically, I wasn't into it. And the first one that happened September 13th, the organization of it all was not the best, so that put me in a foul mood. It turned out okay, not great, but yeah, they had everyone spaced out way too far. It was in the town. In the center, they had, I guess, all the food and music people, and then they had the vendors really spread out, like, far away. And I think it detracted from people really walking, especially people with small kids. It would be a hike for them to walk to all the different locations. So anyway, like I said, it turned out okay. Could have been better. First one, I sold 42 items in 41 transactions. I'm going to try to remember. I tried categorizing by item types what I sold. Let's see if I can remember anything that happened. Yeah, I think the biggest drawback for that first one was the location and where vendors were set up. And even where we were set up, there was a big open area, and then we were set up like in the back along a smaller path. So it was just, I think, poorly set up, as I've mentioned before. So what sold? I sold 1 2-button cowl. Now that's usually one of my best sellers. It's my own pattern, and some years it does gangbusters, and I'm you know, fighting to keep up and restock after each fair. This year I've been making them all along to have like a stockpile, and of course the year that I actually do that, it's not selling as well as it's done in the past. But anyway, for this first fair I sold 1 2-button cowl. I sold 1 mini axolotl. It was a tiny one. I think it's a pattern by Loops and Knots, I think. But I think I've had that one for like at least a year. It's just been in inventory and I put it out there. Axolotls were doing great. They haven't been doing great, so I really haven't made any. I don't think I've made any this year yet. And I have it on my list to do, but haven't gotten around to it. To make at least a couple, but yeah, I haven't. I think I have maybe 1 more. No, 2. I did make 1 earlier this year. So I have like 2 in inventory, and 1 is from last year. I did sell a large bunny that I made. And if I can, one, have the energy or remember to put in a picture of what those are. I'm really good about taking pictures of everything that I make, and lately I find that that's not happening as much, even though I bought this big light box that I have in my basement, because I always fought with the light indoors, outdoors to take pictures. And now that I have the light box, I still just don't have the time. But anyway, I sold a big bunny. For this one, the little girl who bought it, she literally like matched the bunny. She had the same color scheme as the bunny. So if I can find the picture, it was a light green and purple, I think, were the color schemes. I made two. I made one with the little dress, and then the other one, I wanted like a boy one, so I made one. I think I gave it a bow tie, but the girl bunny sold. I also had this egg-shaped bunny. It was off a tutorial, I'm pretty sure, off YouTube. Do I remember which one? No. I don't even know if I'd remember to be able to put a link in. But yeah, that one I had, and I literally just put it out just to see, and you know, everything in due time. There's always something for someone. It's just a matter of how long you're willing to carry it around for. Another thing that hasn't been doing well, chickens. It did pick up a little, but at this fair I only sold one. So two bunnies, a big one and a little egg, and then a chicken. Most of my chickens I sell for either $10 or $15. I used to primarily do the Mabel chicken, but I kind of modified that. Now I put a head on, put tail, feathers, and all that. So yeah, I sold two cows. One of them I've had for a bit, and one, I think it was a newish one. Yeah, I don't even remember, it's been so long. Let's see. I sold a little puppy again. I made a few different puppies and they haven't been doing well for me, so I sold a puppy. Dragons. Now, between this first fair and my last one at the beginning of this month, dragons have been doing very well. It's definitely the year of the dragons for me. And the mini ones. I do have some bigger ones that I made. One I've been carrying around for a while, but the Diddy decks, snuggler's, those, whenever I make them, usually I usually bring about 3 with me to a craft fair, and I usually sell them. And this time I'm pretty sure I had 3 or 4 and I sold 2. And then a mini dragon. The mini dragon, I use a few different patterns for the mini dragons. The one I use primarily, I don't even remember the person's name because it was a video tutorial. Do I have it? I'll have to check my past pattern links to see if I have it. It was a video tutorial. Obviously it was free on YouTube, that has since been taken down or made private, and she now sells the pattern on Etsy. So I cannot remember the name, but if I can find it, I will put the link in. But the link to the YouTube, which I had saved when I first saw the pattern, I quickly wrote down the steps, not in detail, but I can still remember them. And I had taken the link to the YouTube video and I put it in the document, and that link no longer works because it's been privated or removed from YouTube. Ducks. Now the minis. I mentioned last time that I find that I don't enjoy making all the tiny things, the small things that you need for, you know, to have smaller price points on your table, but I don't enjoy making all those over and over and over again. But they've been doing well. So the mini ducks, it's the itty bitty bird by I forget who. It's on Instagram. That one has a mallard, the regular duck, the mallard, and penguins, 2 different penguins, a gray and black penguin modifications in them, and they've been doing really well. So I sold 3 of the minis. I don't distinguish in my system like which ones they are. I just call them mini ducks, but I sold 3 of them. And I also had a goose that I've had around for a while that finally sold. And it was the floppy long neck goose. It's from a pattern of, what do you call it? Instagram. And that one, oh, I have a bucket. I think I took a picture of it. It's just like a drink, those plastic drinks bucket that you put ice in, you know, when you're having a gathering. I'm pretty sure I found it at Michael's at the end of the season or something. I'm looking for a nice yellow one, but the one I have is bright pink. I took that, and any of the toys that I've been carrying around for a year or more, especially the smaller ones, some big ones too, I put it in there. I put a sign on it that says it's a discount bin, it's half off, and I found that people love digging. I've seen on other like market reviews or recaps that people say people like rummaging through things, and I've tried that before in the past with like hats and stuff. Hadn't worked well, but with the toys they seem to really go for it. So I do have a discount bin that I call it, and so I put all those in there, and people, they go through it a lot, and I have gotten a few sales from it. So the duck, or the goose, the little floppy neck goose, was one of those that I've had for, this is like year 2 or 3 that I've had it. I used to have like 4 or 5, and I think I was down to my last one that just hadn't sold. I sold, so 4 ducks in total, or I'm counting the geese as one of those, because I have it in the inventory system under the ducks. I sold 4 mini frogs, again, the minis that I don't love making. I don't mind the frog though. It is the pattern by oh my gosh, it's not My Crochet Universe, I think. Ugh, name's on the tip of my tongue, but anyway, I've shown them before. Little mini frogs. I sold 3 of those. I also sold a crochet hat. It's been a while. Sold one of those, and it's not, I don't think it was one of my like standard patterns like my bricks and hearts or my Victorina beanie, but it was just I think it was a basic crochet hat that I made. I sold a hippo out of my discount bin as well. Now the hippo, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. It's like the long, almost like splooting, but not really. I was trying to fix the eyes and I messed it up with some glue around it. So I tossed it in my discount bin and somebody bought it. I sold 2 koalas. I had shown the one that I made with the overalls. The overalls were supposed to be a separate piece, but I didn't want to do a separate piece, so I kind of made it part of the body. That sold, as well as a smaller one that I had. So I need to make a couple others. A mini unicorn that it's an Instagram pattern, if I remember. No, hopefully I will put the link below. I sold that, and the mini unicorns are like, it's like a tiny little unicorn. I sold 2 of the squirrels by, oh, what is her name? Not Kayla Craft. I'll put it on the screen, but it's the adorable little squirrels. I have 3 left, and I sold 2 of those. I still have 1 of them left. I sold a large octo that I had, not my jumbo, but a pretty big size one. Octos are another thing that haven't been selling, and I do still have a lot of my funkier ones that I try to use different yarns for that aren't doing so well. So I think I'm going to go back to using standard yarn to make those instead of adding any of the funky yarns, because they aren't moving. So I'm gonna probably put those in my discount bin as well. I did sell 2 otters. Again, they were Instagram patterns, and I used non-standard yarn colors for it, and they hadn't been doing well. Put them in the discount bin, and they went. It's funny that the 2 people that bought them, 2 different transactions, and they were like so happy to see them. It's like they'd never come across them, mind you, when they were on my table. And I guess it all depends on display, and I have limited space. I'm always looking for ways to display, and I'm always envious of the display that people, people set up their stuff with. And then it hit me, I have wearables as well as the amigurumi, so I'm limited on space. So I can't like spread out and just do, a really aesthetically pleasing display. So some things don't get seen as much as they should. So being in the discount bin, and I had that in the front of my tent, so when people, as they're coming in, they see that. So I guess that helps, location, location, location. I sold an owl. A while back I'd shown that I had some pipsqueak, I can never say that right, pipsqueak type yarn. It was in a mill-end type bag, and I'd had it for a while, didn't know what to do with it, and then I decided to use it up and just make owls. I paired it with different yarns, and I sold one. And again, the girl who bought it was just, and mind you, those have been on my table numerous times, but that one went. Pigs, I sold a mini pig. That is off an Instagram pattern again. Do I remember? Who knew? But yeah, I sold a mini pig. My possums have not been doing well. Those were always a bestseller for me, and they're not. I think it's because of the yarns. I usually do them in like the gray, black, and white, but I've been using like a multicolor yarn for the body, like a gray tannish color, and I'm thinking maybe that's why, but they haven't been doing so well. So one possum. Stingrays, the minis again. The mini stingrays, I make them in 2 sizes. I use Posh, and I sell those for $5, and then I use like regular blanket yarn, and those I sell for $8. And I sold in total 6 mini stingrays. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them were the $5 ones, and 2 of them were the $8 ones. And the $8 ones, it's usually like scrap blanket yarn that I have. But yeah, 6 of those. Turtles, again, used to be a bestseller. Not so much right now. Everything comes in cycles, so I'm not too bothered by that. But yeah, they haven't been moving as much, especially the big ones. They're definitely not moving like they used to. And my big ones go anywhere from $22 to $28. Yeah. Again, given the environment that we're in, and people are hesitant to spend that much money, for the time being, I guess I'll have to power through and make some more of those $5, $8, $10 items. And then, so for the turtles, I sold 3 turtles. One of them was out of my discount bin. Again, I did it in funky yarn, and it's just been around, so finally sold in the discount bin. I think one of the small ones that I sold was one of the fruit turtles that I did. I did like an orange, strawberry, blueberry. Most of those went in the spring, but I still had a few more left over. And then I sold 2 of the mini whales, and I think I used the All from Jade pattern, but it's very similar to others that I've made before, so 2 whales. So that was the first one in September. If the location was better, I think I would have done so much better, but you win some, you lose some. Or really not lose, because I did have sales, so I can't say I lost. It's just wasn't as good as it could have been, in my opinion. So that was on September 13th. We will move on to the next one. Okay, the next fair was on the 20th of September, and this is one of my successful fairs. I've been doing it for I think 5-6 years, not counting COVID year, obviously, when they didn't have it. Last year it rained, people still showed up, and I did about 1/5 of what I normally do there. This year totally bounced back, so it was definitely weather related. It's always a great it's always a good day. The people are great, the atmosphere is great, so this year proved it once again. I sold 2 2-button cows there, and this is one of the places where I typically would sell quite a few more 2-button cowls, but like I said, things change. You never know how it's gonna go. But I sold 2 of those. I sold one of my bears that I did. So I keep saying I want to have like regular like teddy bears at my craft fair. I just don't seem to have the time to get around to it, or I get distracted by other things and never get around to it. That's more likely what it is. You know, I get distracted by all the shiny new things that are coming, or the little things I need to restock on, and I never get around to it. So I sold one bear. I don't even remember which one it is. I want to say it was, no, it wasn't that one. It was a $30 bear, and I don't even remember what that one looks like. I think I had 3 bears in stock. Do I remember? No. But I sold one. I sold a shawl. I sold one of my Big Sky shawls. I think it was one that was in a rolling style yarn. Was it? I don't remember. But I sold a shawl. I always get such a thrill when I sell a shawl, because I love making shawls. So it's always great when I sell them. Plus they take up a lot of room, because I typically use like number 5 bulky weight yarn. I've been talking a long time. As I was saying, I typically use number 5 bulky weight yarn for them. So they're a pretty good size, so it takes up quite a bit of room in my packing. So it's great when I can get rid of one, or not get rid of, when I can sell one, rehome one. I sold one of my Bricks and Hearts hats. This one had no pom-pom on it. The other bunny that I sold, a large bunny I was talking about before, the one that I had made that was a girl, so the boy one sold. And they were in very similar colors. They were spring. I had made them for the spring fair. So they were in light pastel-y spring colors. Hopefully I will find the pictures and put them up. So that sold. It was nice. I did end up selling quite a few over these 3 fairs. Quite a few larger items I did end up selling, so that felt good. Loaf cats, another thing that, you know, obviously they took off and they've had their moment and what have you. Now, what I will say is the more unique you can make them look, the better. And also smaller ones, not like the big ones that cost like $20, $25. I see some people selling them for that. I know that would never sell around here in my craft fair circle. I am still looking for that niche craft fair in that location where I would be able to really charge more realistically for the time spent and the materials, but getting into those is also quite pricey around here, and the space is very limited. There is one craft fair I want to get into, but you only get a 6-foot table. They have so many vendors, it's so tight and so packed, and I did scope it out a few years ago, and it's 2 floors. There is no easy way to get between floors, so it would be a complete nightmare. And I can't even imagine what like the takedown would be. So it's a lot, and they charge like $300 for a 6-foot table space. So that means you can probably charge, but not only would it be a smaller space, I can't do much on a 6-foot table with the items that I have. So I think it's more for the craft fair that like sells candles and soaps and things, where you can only have a certain number on the table and have your stock underneath, but not my stuff. What else? Oh, so as I was saying, the loaf cats, they've had their moment. Make them as unique as possible, and they do tend to sell, but make the smaller ones, again, you know, that's more affordable right now. I do have varying sizes, but mine range from $10 to I think $18 was the highest I'm charging for the ones I make. But I sold 3 loaf cats. Chickens, last time I sold 1. This time I sold 3. One of them I had my last chicken and egg that I had made, and that one wasn't a specific pattern. I just looked at a picture out there and I just did my own thing. Dragons. I sold 5 dragons this time. One of the Diddy Deck Snuggler, and 1, 2, 3 mini dragons. Oh, I was talking about the mini dragons before. I never finished. This is the YouTube tutorial. I wish I could remember the name. I can't. But this is it. It's really small one. And my battery's flashing. But I literally just made this last night. It is Dollar Tree gray held with Parfait chunky gray, and still doubled up with a 5.5mm hook, and it's pretty small size in the palm of your hands. And this is some rainbowish yarn. It's like a chenille velvet. I love the feel of it. It's a little slippery to work with compared to just chenille, but I love the feel of it. It's plush. So the tail of hers I did different than the pattern called for. I used Wild and Willow, I think. Is that who? Wilder and Jean. It's a tutorial that I followed. I like the way she does her tail because it's all, you don't have to sew on anything. It's surfaced on. So I used hers. I wish I'd done this a little smaller, but that's the one that I've made quite a few of and I've sold quite a few of. There are a couple of Instagram patterns that I've used, but I tend to come back to this one. Basically, the only thing you're sewing on are the wings, because I no longer sew on the tail fins. So yeah, and I'm in the process of making another one of these too. Holding Dollar Tree hibiscus pink yarn with the rainbow. I'm gonna change my battery before it shuts off on me. I'll be right back. Where was I? Dragons. So, like I said, if I can remember who this was, and I can find the Etsy listing, I will include a link, but for the life of me, I don't remember the name. I've seen it come across my Instagram, not Instagram, Pinterest. So I'll do a search and try to find that and at least post a link to the Etsy page. But yeah, I like it. And it works, and the color, you could do whatever colors. That rich, gorgeous brown from the Just Chenille that I love, I plan on making one. I did one in the brown with I think it was the hot pink wings, and that was a hit. So I plan to, that sold, and I plan to redo that as well. But I have 3.5 skeins left of this rainbow chenille yarn, which I really like. I gotta find out if I bought it off Amazon because I need more. Not that I need more yarn, but for another day. Story for another day. But anyway, so dragons are doing well for me. Mini ducks again. I sold 3 ducks, 2 minis, and 1 mallard. I don't remember. I think I have that from my spring shows. I don't remember who it was from, but I sold 1. It was a pretty good size one opposed to the minis. The last of my flamingos sold. I had made a flamingo over a year ago. Somebody wanted a custom order of the flamingo, and I couldn't decide which ones to make, so I made, I think, 4 different flamingos. She chose one. So over the last year and a half or so, I've had them, and the last of the 3 remaining sold. And a guy and his girlfriend actually bought it, and he said he saw it and it had to come home with him. And like I said, there's always somebody for one of the things that you have, even though sometimes it feels like you're going to carry it around forever. It always just makes it so much more worthwhile when that person finds their thing, you know, that where it belongs. And that was one of those moments where he's like, I saw it and he had to have it. Almost tempted to make another one, but there are a lot of little things I need to restock on, and I am falling behind because I have another fair in a week, a little over a week, that I need to prep for. So it's a week from Saturday, so about 2 weeks. a little under 2 weeks. So yeah, I sold one fringed triangle cowl, my pattern that sometimes does great, sometimes not so much. Well, most times not so much. Like I said, there's that person who comes up who, you know, it's just for them, and that's what I sold 2 of them. In my next fair I sold another one, but the people who put it on, it's like what they were looking for. So again, warms the cockles of my heart when that happens. And the show where I used to sell the most is the show that got that ended. Last year was the last year of it. So frogs, I sold 3 frogs. 2 of them were in my discount bin, and one was the mini frogs. I sold a the knit hat, the ones that I make that are where I'm holding a strand of either latte with 2 strands of a worsted or 2 number 5 yarns, just to use up my acrylic, and just making either the 1x1, the 2x1, the 2x3, the 2x2, those basic knit hats. One of those sold. This one sold to, I was literally making it, finishing it up at the fair. It started at the previous fair. I was finishing up at this one, and this guy, older gentleman and his wife came by, and he saw me, and they were looking around, and the wife was, you know, loving everything, which again, love that. And then he was like, well, what about that one that you have there? And I'm like, oh, I literally just finished it. I was just about to put on my label, but I didn't have, it was one of the sew-on labels, and I didn't have a needle. I used to have a needle in my little, you know, repair kit kind of thing, and it must have fallen out or something. So, which reminds me, I need to add one back to that. I may have already, but, so he's like, I will save you your tag for another product, and he took that one. It was gray. I think I don't have a picture of that one because I just finished it and he took it, but hopefully I'll put a picture of a similar one so you can see what it's like. And that reminds me, I need to start another one. I like to have a on-the-go knitting project as well as crochet project, so I can, you know, alternate, and I need to start another one. Because actually, I'll have to go show you. I just finished one. I have things here to show you that I've been working on, but I may do it not included in here other than showing you this. So I'll have to do a separate video and show you that. What else? Headbands. Another thing that was a bestseller. I couldn't keep up with them, and now for the last, I think, 2 years, last year, this year, not so much, but slowly I sold 3 headbands. I sell them for $15 or 2 for $25, and one of the sales was the 2-piece, the 2 for $25, and then one was a single one. The one hedgehog that I made when I was over the spring summer, when I was in the ER with my father, I remember doing it there, one of the long overnight stays there, and that one sold. My last Junimo sold, so I want to do a couple more of those. Will I get to it? Who knows? And Junimo is a little apple character from the game Stardew Valley. Do I play that game? No. I happened to see it on, I think, Cosmic Crystals Crochet. I think that was her name. I happened upon it, and I was watching a couple of her videos. She had Junimos. I'm like, oh, those are cute. Made them. I made, I think, like 4 or 5, and this was the last one. And of course, I love it when somebody knows exactly what it is, and they knew, and it went home with them. I sold a strawberry keychain, and the mesh ponchos that I showed in the previous video. I sold 2 of those. So I still have some Knit Picks Brava bulky yarn to go through to make. I think I have enough for at least 3 or 4 more of those, so I need to get onto that. At least, even if they don't sell now, I can use up the yarn and have it there for, it'll work for either spring or fall type of fair. I sold a banana. It's a banana with arms and legs, and that's a Instagram pattern that I'd shown previously. I sold 2 more pigs, small pigs from Instagram. I sold a small pumpkin. This one lady, she was in my booth for a while. She was just talking about crochet and how she crocheted and that. So I was giving her some pointers and, you know, don't give up, blah, blah, blah. And then she was about to leave, and I think she felt bad. So she started looking around, and she bought a little $10 pumpkin. So that was nice. I sold a small rat. It's my own pattern. I just finished this. It was a little smaller than this one, but I went down a hook size because this yarn was a little bigger than what I use for here, so it made this a little stiff. Usually they just hang, but I sold one of these. Spiders. The jumping spider, which I think it's a great quick make. It's a great scrap buster. It's a pattern from Etsy. I like making it, but they haven't sold. I think they haven't sold so much. I sold one, and well, I sold one at this fair. I think I sold like maybe 2 during the spring. I think it's my color choice. Using up the scraps is great, but I think I need to have some that are like solid colors to show people what it's like, because all I have are like the scrappy ones. That's my thought process. We'll see. Okay, I have time before it shuts off on me. Stingrays, again, I sold 6 of the mini stingrays, or 4 of the mini ones, and which is the $5 ones, and 2 of the $8 ones. I sold 4 turtles, the fruit size turtles. They're about palm size turtles. I sold 4 of those, and I sold 3 whales, the mini whales. And I use the mini ones, I use Posh. All the mini ones I tend to use Posh because they come out just a small size. And then for usually the $8 items, I use blanket yarn. But I sold 3 small whales. And the last Yoda that I had, it was like the round bubbly one with just the head and the round body. And it had a big scarf around. That one I'd had for a while. So I put it in my discount bin, and it sold. So 43 transactions, 53 items. So that wasn't too bad. Oh, post-editing me here. I forgot to mention that at the second craft fair in September, I met a fellow crocheter, designer. When I saw the name, she was walking around, you know, scoping all the other booths, and I'm sure other crochet booths and stuff. And she came by. Her name's Morgan. Introduced herself, and she handed me her card and mentioned that she had patterns and everything on Instagram. And when I saw the card, I'm like, oh, that name looks familiar. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I have one of your patterns, or I made one of your patterns, her free Instagram pattern. So I go through and I go on Instagram, and lo and behold, I did save the pattern. So Morgan, hi, if you ever see this, but this is her card. Her Instagram name is the Rainbow Craft Collective. And now that I think about it, I never checked to see if she is on YouTube. Yes, there was a YouTube thing there. So this is her business card. So if you want to scan it, it does show that she has a YouTube here, and she's on Instagram. So Morgan, one of the cows that I sold, it was a mini cow. I don't know if I took a picture of it. It's one of those that I did that I didn't take a picture of everything that I made, but yeah, it was cool to meet a, you know, fellow designer, crocheter out in the wild. So Morgan, it's nice meeting you. Yay. All right, go check her out. My most recent, which was at the beginning of this month, one of my best shows. The people there are absolutely fantastic. They are friendly. Mind you, you do get the occasional, you know, people think it's too expensive or what have you, but for the most part, overall, the people are awesome. They are friendly. They appreciate. I had quite a few people mention that I was underpricing my things, but I know if I went up in price from where they are, other than maybe $1 or so, it would sit there forever. So the other thing I didn't mention from the previous fair, I had 2 damages. One of them ticked me off to no end. So this lady was there. There are a lot of people who basically use these things as like pseudo babysitters for their kids. They just kind of let them run wild. And these kids are like touching things, dirty hands. I always stop them now and say, like, you're free to touch if your hands aren't sticky or dirty. And I always tell them I have Purell and wipes just in case. Because a lot of these outside ones are like obviously kid-centric, and they have like face paints and stuff, and a lot of them come in and they hold, you know, and I've had a few with face paint that I've been able to thankfully clean off. But for this one, this lady had 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, and they were just they could use Miss Manners, I guess. Yeah, so they were just picking them up, putting them down in not the most gentle way, and I was just watching, and towards the end, one of the girls picked something up. No, she knocked the table, and my panda fell, and this was a dry day where the ground was dry, everything, and like dry grass kind of, and it fell, and it just covered. And she just, the mom, and she picked it up, handed it to me, and walked away. And I was like, serenity now. Yep. Not even like a sorry or anything. She just handed it to me and walked away with the kids. And I was like, you could at least have bought something, you know? So I also had, this one fell. I think not really to, I don't think it was to any fault of anyone. It fell. Because it's not the most stable, it's a bubbly thing, and it got dirty and I was not able to wipe it off, so I brought them home and I put them in pantyhose to keep them, you know, together, washed them. The pig, I can see where it didn't clean off, like it fell right on here, and I can still see the difference. Also, because I put them together, the black bled, so the white of the panda is a little grayish, and it's a little matted from being, because I did it pretty tight in the pantyhose. So these I'm looking at it's a huge vehicle beeping. They're doing, I think, tree work or stuff out there, so just pass by the window like that. Nosy neighbor me. So I'm gonna probably stick it in my discount bin to see if anybody's interested, you know, because right now it's just sitting there. So the panda is okay, except it's, you know, it's a little matted, and the black kind of turned the white a little grayish, and then this one is still what would I call it? I think the shadow cast I'm seeing on here is probably from the black of this that got on here, probably. So those were the losses from that last show. So back to this one. This one I sold quite a bit, well, more than before. 76 transactions, 96 items sold. Let's see. So I mentioned that the 2-button cowls, some days they're great, or some fairs they're great, some aren't. 2 of my upcoming fairs are, actually 3 of my upcoming fairs are, they do really well. So we'll see if that happens this year. But for this one, I sold 5. The regular ones, and then when I make them out of multiple strands of like acrylic yarn and something else, usually latte, I trim them with faux fur. So I sold one of those. So 5 in total, which was total win. I sold another bunny I had. This was the dots yarn. It was the white dots yarn with like pink and yellow, I think, colors. Again, if I can find the picture, I'll pop it on. So I sold, this little girl wanted that, and that was what she was having. Usually you have the parents that go, "Are you sure?" And that was what she was having, so that was awesome. I sold 4 more loaf cats, which is awesome. I've actually made, I've made a couple more to replace them, because I think I am probably, I have some previous ones that haven't sold, and I'm trying to kind of reimagine them, reconfigure them, put something a little different on them. I'll talk about one of the dragons that I did something to that helped, because it sold. But 4 loaf cats. I sold 1 little mini chicken. I put on a keychain, and then a regular chicken. I think one of the chickens was the Stardew Valley. It was the Stardew Valley blue chicken. I sold 3 dinos. One of them was a big one, a Stegosaurus. And then 3 mini ones and a Triceratops. Dragons. I love dragons. This is the year of dragons. I love dragons. There's something about it. I'm all here for the year of the dragon. I sold 12 dragons. 12 dragons. Not only did I sell 12 dragons, but 4 of them were large dragons, and 3 of them were the Diddy Deck Snugglers. So, dragons. I love dragons. All right, so the biggest one was I did a test for One Dog Wolf, and I need to ask her when she's releasing it. She was supposed to release her Sleepy Dragon, and I don't see where she ever did. I did post in the tester group that, you know, I had made 2, and my second one sold. This is the one that sold. But yeah, that was the biggest one. I think that was the biggest single purchase. I think it was $65 for that. Dragons. I have just 3 large dragons that I sold. So this one woman came, and she was buying a present for 1 kid, and there were 2 other kids, so she couldn't. She's one of those, you can't buy one and not buy for the other. So she bought 3 dragons. One was a dragon by Loops and Knots. I think it was Willow the Dragon. I think I made it like 2 years ago. I made 2. This one hadn't sold. And I looked at it and like, what can I do? I kind of brightened up the eye a little, gave it a little definition, and I gave it the little line going just to make the face look different. That one sold, because literally it's been touched and it's just been there for over a year. One was, the other one was from YouTube tutorial. No, one was the Crochet by Jenna tutorial that I followed. The one that I said was, you know, it curved a little and I had to adjust. That sold. And then the other one was, who was it by? It's a Light Fury. Or was it the Night Fury? It's one of the Fury dragons, because I had a Light Fury and a Night Fury. One of those sold. So 3 together, and that was the largest one. That was the largest one transaction purchase I had for the day. It was awesome. Awesome. I sold 2 medium dragons, kind of like a little bit bigger than this size, and then 3 mini dragons, and then of course the 3 Diddy Deck Snuggler. And so I am now all out of Diddy Decks, and I have made 1 replacement so far, so I have to get on to that. Mini ducks, or ducks in general, I sold 8. Again, the minis keep selling. I had 2 ducks on swings, or chicks on swings. I sold those. And rubber ducks, I sold 2 of those. I had those as separate listings and totally didn't realize. So one of the ducks that I sold, I think the previous craft fair, I had it just under ducks, and I think it was one of the rubber ducks. But yeah, those are actually selling now, so which is cool. I did sell another French triangle cowl, so that's 2. Frogs. I sold 10 frogs. 8 of them were the mini frogs, so I was almost all out, and I think up to like 4 replacements so far, and 1 frog that I had in my discount bin that I had had for a while. So love it, love it, love it. I had 1 gummy bear keychain left I've had for a bit that finally sold. I sold 7 headbands. I had said that they weren't selling. All of a sudden they're selling. 5 single ones, and then 1 the 2-pack discount, so 2 for $25. Yep. I had this, I call it a hug monster. It's a tutorial that I did off YouTube, and I've been searching because I can't remember what it was called, and I've been searching all kinds of variations on the name. I haven't come across it again of who it was by. But I've had it for a while, wasn't selling. I put it in discount bin. It sold. One of them, I had 2, a smaller one and a bigger one. One of them I had added to a raffle item at my previous craft fair. I sold another strawberry keychain. I sold another mesh poncho. The previous craft fair I sold 2 mesh ponchos. One of them was to one of the volunteers, the organizer volunteers, which was cool. She saw it, she said, she finally walked over and she said she'd been eyeing it for a while. It was in a cream color Bravo bulky. I even bought, not more Bravo bulky, but I bought a big skein of just yarn from the Dollar Tree that I'm gonna double to try to do another cream color one. I haven't gotten around to it yet. But that person had said she'd been eyeing it, so she paid for it, and she goes, you know what, you can leave it hanging up there so people can see, you know, that you have different colors, and she'll pick it up at the end. So I had to do a tag and write sold on it just so it, you know, nobody took it. But that was really nice of her. Like I said, that's one of my favorite fairs, and the people there are great. I sold another with the bananas. I think I have 1 left. I had 3. I have 1 left. The bananas with the legs. I sold a caterpillar. I'm not sure if it was the All from Jade one, or there's another caterpillar pattern from Instagram that I did. I know I have 1 left, but I don't remember which one sold. I sold 2 of my ghosts. I had a duck with hat. I sold that. The same, is that the guy who bought the flamingo? No, that was a different thing. But I had a duck with hat. I sold that. And I think I have 2 monkeys, and I sold 1 of them. Okay, I don't know if the monkey comment got cut off, but I had 2 monkeys. I sold 1. I sold 3 octos. I had 1 jumbo one that I made out of the Fluffy Flex yarn. Not a real fan of that. I had bought 2 skeins. I had made ice cream cones as the topper for ice cream cones, because I didn't have to like stitch on like sprinkles. But I used the rest. This was the second jumbo octo that I made out of it, so that sold. I sold another medium-sized octo, and then I sold 1 out of my discount bin. Again, another one of the funky ones that I made that wasn't selling, I put it in discount bin. It sold. Most of my octos that I make, my regular octo pattern, I sell for $15. This one was an $18 one, the medium one. I sold a small owl. I don't remember which owl it was, but I sold a small owl. Last pickle that I had, no pattern, I just winged it. I sold that. It was a small one. I sold 4 pigs, 3 mini ones, and 1 $20 size one. So 2 possums. Again, possums are not doing well. I used to not be able to keep up with my possums, and no, they're not. I actually like the possums. I sold 2 pumpkins, a small one, but I also sold my pumpkin baby. This is by our very own Z. I will put a picture of the kid who bought it. I didn't put his face in the picture, but yeah, I sold that because he saw it, and it's, oh, I love when they just, they go in for one thing and that's what they want. It's awesome. I had 5 rats this time, and I sold 4 of them, which is awesome. So yeah, my own rat pattern. I sold 4 of those. I sold 3 shawls this time. Ooh, love it, love it, love it. I sold a South Bay shawlette that I had. I think I made that out of, I don't remember what yarn that was. I'm thinking it's one that I've had for a while. It was in a mandala, I think in the Genie colorway, but I'm not sure if that was the one. But I also had a sparkly fire shawl. So I sold a regular fire shawl and a sparkly fire shawl. The sparkly fire shawl, it was out of the which one was it? I think it was the sparkly yarn that I got from Mary Maxim, I think. Yeah. So 3 shawls, 1 small squid, my own squid formula, 3 mini stingrays this time, and I sold 3 turtles, 1 regular size one and 2 mini ones, and 6 of the mini whales. Ah, it was a good day. Like I said, 76 transactions, 96 items. Awesome, awesome day. So those are my first 3. Hopefully while I'm editing, if I can find the pictures, I will try to put in pictures, but they've all been things I've shown in previous videos, so you can, you know, go back a video or 2 or 3 and look at the pattern link, and it's most likely will be in there. Everything except for the jumbo sleepy dragon, which to my knowledge has not been released by One Dog Woof. So, and I really need to make another one of those because the technique is, it's not a beginner pattern at all, but it's an interesting technique. So yeah, anyway, that is that. I will do another video to show my makes. I've shown you a couple of them, but that'll be another video because this one's already going to be long. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. You may or may not see me in the same outfit, but thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.